What you're listening to is a few moments of the Muman Rift Wars TCG soundtrack, and in good DJ fashion, of course, I am talking over the music.
30 seconds until entry.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Tuttle. I am your host for the first installment of Decipher Wars Radio. I am the public relations and marketing manager for Decipher, and what this show is going to be is it's a way for us to tell you all kinds of great new things about our upcoming property and card game, the Muman Rift Wars TCG. Now, why we're doing this, very unusual in the TCG industry, but here at Decipher, we like to be innovators. This was born out of the popularity of Radio Free Decipher. Lots of great comments on that show over the years, and we thought, let's do a show that's dedicated strictly to the Wars TCG. Why? There's lots of information coming out about it, and we can easily fill well more time than we're actually going to take each week with this 15-minute radio show or so. And we're very excited about the game. We thought, what a great way for you guys to hear how excited we are by hearing it in our own voices. Text can be in personal and magazine articles, sometimes don't show you how literally bubbling over we are here at Decipher with anticipation for this project. So we thought a radio show would be a great way to do it. We hope you agree. Every Friday we're going to post a new episode on Decipher.com. Here are the kind of things that you're going to hear on Decipher Wars Radio each week. Each Friday afternoon, each new show will contain a new weekly interview. Now this will be with Decipher staff, our artists, game developers, designers. We're going to be able to interview former Star Wars CCG players. A lot of them are telling us how excited they are about the return of what they're calling the best CCG game mechanics in the industry, and we certainly agree with them on that. Also, there's a lot of outside people that are working on the Wars TCG. Michael Stackpole, the famed sci-fi writer, he is doing some backstory consultation with us. Conceptual artist John Howe, he was the conceptual artist for the Lord of the Rings films. He is providing some materials for us as well, and we hope to have him on with an interview as well here very soon. Each week, you'll hear news and updates as we approach the release date of October 6, 2004 for the Muman Rift Wars TCG. We'll have contests. We'll give out all kinds of great prizes. We'll take input from you, the listeners. Now, we announced on Tuesday that this show was going to air on Friday for the first time, and we set up a brand new email address so you can contact us. Write this down. It's wars.radio@decipher.com. wars.radio@decipher.com. That is the email address that you can send mail directly to us and maybe even hear your email read on the show. We'll cover some of this week's email coming up in just a little bit. Also, within the next few weeks, we will have a phone voicemail system set up where you'll be able to call a number, which we'll tell you once we get it, and you'll be able to leave messages that we might play on the air. Now, again, your emails, your phone messages, whatever, they can be funny, they can be serious, they can be whatever you want to say about the upcoming Wars TCG game. It's going to be exciting, folks. So lots of input from you. That's what this show is about. We give you information. You tell us what you think about it. It's a give and take situation, sort of. Also, each week we're going to have what we call the big reveal. Now, here's how the big reveal works. This will happen toward the end of every show. It will be something that you will see or hear on this show first. Won't get this information anywhere else. You're going to see it or hear it here first. Now, I keep saying see, and you might be thinking, how's that going to work since this is radio? Well, it works like this. Every week, if I've got something to tell you about, I will. If I've got artwork or something neat that you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read for you a URL. You'll type that in your browser, and that piece of art or perhaps video will be on that site, and you can go there and you can check that out. So very cool stuff, folks. Don't miss the big reveal toward the end of every show, and we'll give you more details on this week's big reveal coming up in just a couple of minutes. Now, I mentioned email. We will be reading email each week. We'll pick one listener email to be our email of the week. All right, if we read your email and identify it as the email of the week, you win a great prize. Now, there's no criteria for this. It can be funny, it can be weird, it can be inspired, whatever it is. But send your emails to us, once again, wars.radio@decipher.com. Another way you can contact us here at Decipher is through our brand new Decipher message boards. Now, about 2 weeks ago, we revamped the entire system, and there's already dozens of conversations going on the message boards right now about all Decipher games, including the Muman Rift Wars TCG. All you got to do, go to decipher.com, click the message boards link, and away you go. You have to register to get an account, but it's free, doesn't cost you anything, and once you do that, you are posting away like a madman. Now, on these message boards, this is also where you'll find Tom Lischke's Wars TCG Design Diary, so you don't want to miss that, folks. That's on the Decipher message boards. All right, let's get started with this week's show. We start off with the weekly interview. Now, we had originally told you that the interview this week would be with Warren Holland, who, of course, is Decipher's chairman and CEO. Warren was was feeling a bit under the weather this week, asked if he could step back and do this next week. So next Friday on Decipher Wars Radio, we will start the 2-part interview with Warren Holland about the creation of this whole property. This week, though, we certainly have a great interview for you. We'd like to welcome right now Ed Garton. He's from the Decipher Art Department, and he's the guy that is leading the charge, among many people, with the Wars TCG graphic presentation. Ed, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark.
That coffee smells really good. What is that?
That's what's keeping me up right now.
Ed, what is the Decipher Art Department like these days with the Moomin Rift Wars TCG project going on?
On any given day in the art department, I find it to be a pretty amazing place. But since the Wars project has begun, it's really taken on a new level of excitement down there. It may not sound like I'm really excited, but that's because I haven't slept in a few days. It's been amazing. We've got some concept art that's coming in from different people around the world that just never ceases to amaze me. I look forward to getting my emails in the morning. Whenever I see one of those emails in my inbox, I jump right to it. And to give you sort of a perspective on this, since the Wars project has begun, I've probably seen I've sent out about 1,200 emails just concerning the Wars project, and I've probably seen triple that. But whenever one of these concept guys, the email comes in, I go right to it, I open it up, I print it out, I showcase it. People down in the art department are really excited about the stuff that's coming in, and the stuff that's coming out of the art department has just been amazing.
So tell us exactly, what is your role in the Wars TCG product?
Officially, I'm the Wars project manager. That means that anything that has to do with art, I have my hands in it in some way or another. Another term for that, a better term, might be like ringmaster, cat wrangler.
But we should point out that no cats were harmed in the production of the Wars TCG.
Not yet, and we hope not to. But what really sort of happens is that as stuff comes in, I try and keep an eye on the look and feel, and I try and keep an eye on the deadlines that we're trying to hit. We've got some pretty tight deadlines that we're going for, and some pretty scary deadlines, and when you're working with creative people, deadlines aren't always the thing that they want to hear about, want to think about, or even give much thought to. They just want to make some amazing, beautiful art. And I'm trying to give them all the space to do it and keep an eye on the deadlines. So that's what I'm doing right now.
All right. How is this project going to differ artistically from the previous Decipher games that you've worked on?
I've been here about about 4 years now, and every project that I've worked on prior to this has been a licensed property. I think that Decipher is pretty well known, very well known maybe, for doing movie licenses, TCGs and CCGs. This is going to be a fully illustrated trading card game that the whole property, the whole brainchild of the whole thing happens in-house. The art's going to happen in and out of house, but the storyline development and everything that has to do with this world has been concepted here. So it's pretty much our intellectual property, and it's really exciting because we've got so much freedom with where to go with this. And that's mainly how it differs. I think that the people out there, the fans of Decipher, are really going to be impressed by the level of illustration that comes out of here, and it's going to be the first time that they see something like this. We've done properties like this in the past. We've done an illustrated property that we did in the past, but it was somebody else's intellectual property. At this point, we've got such freedom that if we go, we want to have 50-foot tall robots, and they are going to live in the solar system, and they're going to do this special thing, we can do it. The world is just wide open for us.
Was that a spoiler, Ed?
I have no spoilers here today.
Now let's talk about you talk about licensed properties. What a lot of people are probably thinking about are the images inside the box, but the template itself also lends itself to a great deal of interpretation. Looking at Lord of the Rings, the templates you guys designed for that game, which looked great by the way, they were specific to the culture. There was a lot of thought put into how that border should look. Now that we're looking at the Wars product, where you don't have that stuff handed to you, how do you approach the She or the Quay or Earth and say, okay, what's inside the image box is fine, but how do we do the template for this?
Even in the Lord of the Rings project, Joe Bolden did some amazing card frames for that. And we've got Joe working again on the Wars TCG card frames now. The card frames are based mostly on the culture. So as we develop the style guide and as we do the concept drawings for our culture and for the 5 factions that we're working with, we start to get the feel for what the people is like, what the race is like, what the vessels and spaceships, and using those cultural references is how we'll build the card template. So it'll be right now it's become a very sculptural element, whereas Lord of the Rings was more texture than sculpture. And I'm really excited to see what's going to finally come out of all that. Joe's been doing some great stuff. I've seen it up on his screen. I can't wait to show it to the world. But basically, if we just have the style guide developed and we have the concept drawings, we can figure out what the culture looks like.
All right, now a lot of people outside of this office, with the exception of some of our friends in the media, have not seen anything from this property yet. Right now, we've got a lot of trading card games on the market that range from cartoon art. You know, we've got Beyblade, we've got Mega Man. That's coming out here next week. And then we've got the stuff that's all the way to the photographs and the photorealistic stuff we've done with the Weta collection. Where's the gauge going to be for Wars TCG between those 2 points?
We're aiming for something that's very close to photorealism. It's something I've been currently calling high realism. The card illustrations are going to be stunning. I mean, we've got, like I say, some great artists. I'm really excited to be working with some of these guys, and I'm just stunned that I get to work with some of these other guys, you know, I mean, that they've made space for us in their schedule. And I think that we're going to have some of the best illustrations around. They're going to be high realism, heavy mood lighting, what is very close to photorealism. But when you're working with a science fiction property, you know, it's hard to take a photograph of this stuff.
All right, now, much of the art for this is being done in-house. A lot's contracted out, which you mentioned.
Most of the people that we picked came from a short list of people that we identified in the art department as people we'd like to work with. We were, you know, impressed by what they were doing in the field, and it was, you know, something that we said, you know, we want to get the best people out there. Let's contact these people and see if they'll work with us. And, you know, I was really impressed by the level of, you know, commitment that these guys are willing to do. They're like, look, it's a short time frame. We've got a lot going on, but I'd love to work with you, so I'll squeeze 1 or 2 in. You know, some of these guys are like, I'll squeeze in a bit more than that. Then some of these other people have actually come from the open call that I've had for artists. There's the word's getting around that I'm willing to look at anybody's portfolio and give them a shot, and if they've got good stuff, you know, I'll include them. They don't have to be a big name. Some of these people I'm hoping to turn into a big name. You know, I mean, I'm really impressed by what I see out there, and I'd like to see some more of it.
Every week on the Decipher Wars radio, we're going to do a thing that we call the Big Reveal, and basically that's something management is giving me that I can spoil before it's out anywhere else. Big Reveal for this week. Ed, we're going to let you talk. You get to do the first big reveal.
All right, the big reveal.
This is kind of
cool. Some of the artists that I'm working with, I've let them know, but I'm going to be out at Comic-Con, and during those times, I'm going to be looking at the Artist Alley, looking around at people's stuff. People are welcome to bring up portfolios for me to look at, and because of the caliber of work that's out there, I absolutely know that there's somebody out there I'm going to, you know, take back, and I'm going to make a card illustrator for this property. So I guarantee that one of you out there at Comic-Con is going to be working on this project.
And of course, this is the San Diego Comic-Con that's taking place July 22nd through the 25th. You said you'll be there the Friday and Saturday, right?
Friday and Saturday. I have to clarify, though, you'll be working on the first expansion because the deadlines for this premiere set will have come and gone. But the first expansion is starting in August.
All right, if an artist wants to show up, what should they bring? What do they need? What do you want to see?
Like I said, I'm working on high realism, sort of a full color, heavy mood lightings type stuff. Comic book illustration, while it shows that you have talent, isn't exactly indicative of the style I'm trying to see. So if you guys have something that's high realism, photorealism, that type of illustration, bring that. Your portfolio, obviously, I don't need it to be all fancy. I just need to be able to see your work. You should bring, you know, a pen, get ready to sign a contract, and be ready to start working on some card illustrations.
All right, sounds like a winner. Ed Garten from the Decipher Art Department, thanks for hanging out with us today. Go get a refill on that cup and back to work with you.
Thanks.
All right, moving forward, it's time to check some email.
Email. We get email.
Oh, yeah.
We get your email every day. Here's your mail today.
This is from Magus Albertus from South Texas. He asked a couple of questions, so we'll see if we can get some answers for him here. Number 1, some info on why movement was changed. I don't get it. Well, as of yet, as we said, nothing has changed. Everything is still in the design process. Basically, what he's talking about is we're changing the structure a little bit of the rules, or at least this was the proposed change, is that if you can pay for the movement, you can keep moving until you're done paying for it. Again, we're in play testing right now, so that could well change. Number 2, the relative merits of each species. Okay, fair question. Here we go. Earth, very organized, militaristic, very corporate, big ships, big guns. They'll be a little slower than some of the other factions, but it'll still be a very powerful faction. But again, it's going to be big and corporate and military. The Mars or Ganjan faction, they're very spiritual, very honorable. There's a distinct Asian flavor to their weapons and their costuming and their armor and their vehicles and their ships and things like that. That's going to be a real fun faction to play. Outer Rim guys, they're unpredictable, adaptable. These are kind of your hot rodders out there on the Outer Rim, so they're going to be a lot of fun to play. The Shi, this is our first alien species. They are very arrogant, very advanced. They pretty much think that the universe is theirs, and they don't understand why Everybody else doesn't see it that way. The Quay, these are the Nightmare guys. This is the second faction to come through the Mumon Rift, and they are pretty much your nightmares realized. They're going to be kind of dark and kind of scary, and they're very much in tune with rock and fire, and they're going to be a lot of fun to play as well. Number 3, Magus asks, why is it that I can't have a girlfriend and play a CCG? There's probably a lot of answers there, Magus, but I'm not sure that the CCG is the problem here. I'm just kidding. Number 4, when can we expect Wars fiction in books or books on tape? Probably sooner than you think. Number 5, how are you going to avoid, in the space of 10,000 cards, making Premier worthless or useless in comparison? Magus, when we make 10,000 cards, I'll answer that question for you. Number 6, how long does Decipher plan on holding tournament or holding on to the players that start right now? Pretty much forever. We plan on holding tournaments in nursing homes. We're going to pick the octogenarian Wars TCG champion in 2085. So who knows? That could be you. And number 7, he says, how does Decipher plan to encourage us to keep buying cards year after year? It's going to be the crinkly cellophane of Wars TCG. It'll have a special addictive quality to it. It's like wrapping your cards in bubble wrap. You just won't be able to resist. Actually, serious answer to that, Magus, is we're talking about quality gameplay, fabulous art, great storyline. Pretty much once you start it, you will not be able to put the Mumon Rift down. So, good letter there. Magus Albertus from South Texas. He was our email of the week. All right. Let's wrap the show up for this week, folks. We are out of time. You'll be able to contact us again, as we said earlier. Our address is wars.radio@decipher.com. And also, I'm trolling the message boards all the time to see what you guys are talking about. Next week, this is going to be exciting. We're going to have the first part of our 2-part interview with Warren Holland, who was supposed to be here this week, but he was feeling under the weather. We'll have that for you. More details from the Origins play test, what changes were made based on player feedback. We'll tell you all about that. Also, our satellite play testing is kicking into high gear, and we'll give you a report on that as well. Plus, what's a Wars preview postcard, and why do you need to get your hands on one, especially if you are going to Gen Con? We'll tell you all about that next Friday as well. Now we'll leave you with a little bit more of the Mumon Rift Wars TCG soundtrack. More details on this coming up in a couple of weeks. My name is Mark Tuttle. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week on Decipher Wars Radio.
Signal verification is complete.